State Department activities put other people...
Okay, you'll have your say. You'll have your say. We'll take some questions.
I'll be open for a Q&A, and I think
finish.
the Q&A is probably the most important thing because you guys know better than I do what you want to know.
We'll be handing out darts and bows and arrows, so don't worry.
Also, if anybody thought to bring pitchforks and maybe some torches, that would be cool too.
If people want to ask questions, they can line up behind the second microphone there. There's a second microphone. And leave your weapons behind. But let Adrian finish first.
As I was stating, State Department operations throughout the world involve both American intelligence activities and the activities of American tourists and travelers abroad. If you assume the most innocent possible scenario that it would do nothing but make the U.S. look bad in countries abroad, that would still leave people sitting high and dry if they needed consular assistance, if they were arrested abroad by a country that suddenly decided that they weren't too friendly with the U.S. anymore. If you assume the worst possible scenario, that it actually does expose to the identities of people involved in intelligence operations, or even have the appearance of being involved in intelligence operations by being employees of consulates, missions, and embassies abroad, then you have the very real possibility that lives will be lost.
Adrian, can I ask you a question? If it had just been the video that had been released a few months ago, and not the 260,000 classified documents, what would you have done then?
Absolutely not. And I'm not going to win any friends in the federal government by saying this. But
you wouldn't have turned him in, you're saying?
Say again?
You wouldn't have turned him in based on just the video?
When I knew about the video, I did not contact anybody regarding his activities. I didn't think that there was anything to be gained by it. When it was the documents, I thought that there was a possibility that they could be recovered, or at the very least that there could be a reduced probability that they would be released if the government had the opportunity to take prompt action. And I know that this isn't a crowd that's always friendly towards the government. Hell, I haven't always been friendly towards the government. To this day, I'm not friendly towards all arms of the government. Thank you. And I explicitly requested that no FBI agents that were involved in investigating hackers, that nobody that was involved in anything except for investigating computer crimes involving classified national security systems be involved in the investigation. Those are my terms. That was the only way that I was going to sit down with any investigators and talk to them. And they're like, that's it? Well, sure. And it was a surprisingly pleasant undertaking in the sense that I was never coached. When I didn't remember something from the logs, nobody said, well, are you sure it couldn't have been this way? Are you sure it couldn't have been that way? They simply said, okay, we're going to redact that from the affidavit then. I think that the government behaved themselves better than a lot of people would give them credit for. To set the record clear, I'm not an informant. I'm a witness in a criminal case. It's not that different in my eyes from being a witness in any other case that could involve potential loss of life.
Well, Adrian, I mean, you say it's it's been a pleasant experience for you, working with the government on this, I guess. But Bradley Manning, the alleged leaker, is currently sitting in prison in Kuwait, I believe, and he could be locked up for the rest of his life. How do you feel about that?
I think that it's a little bit ludicrous to say that Bradley Manning is going to be tortured. We don't do that to our citizens.
That's still open to debate. Let's put it that way.
And it depends on your definition of torture.
But let him answer the question.
But
how do you feel about whatever state you think he's in right now, because of your actions?
He's not far from where he was to begin with when he signed up for an all-volunteer army, signed the forms indicating that he would handle classified material appropriately. He took, even if you're just talking about the video, the colloquially called collateral murder video, he took it from a JAG, the Judge Advocate General's office, officer's computer. That indicates that they were investigating it most likely at that time, and he could have compromised that investigation. So if there was a war criminal involved here, they could walk free because evidence was compromised as a result of Mr. Manning's actions.
I'm not sure what people are applauding for. The war criminals walking free, or I don't know. All right,
Adrian,
Okay, listen, no shouting out. If you want to ask a question, step up to the microphone. Since no one's at the microphone now, people on the panel, ask Adrian whatever you want.
I'd like to interject for a second. There's one thing that I'm not really understanding that I'm dying to know, and I'm sure many people in the audience are dying to know, is why you're a witness. A person that, in my estimation, is of no particular import to this case whatsoever. Why did this soldier approach you with this information? That's what I'm not understanding.
I think only Mr. Manning can really answer that question. I don't know what was going through his mind necessarily. He indicated that, well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit again.
Didn't he contact you because you were in Wired magazine and he saw you and thought that you'd be a friend to him?
He indicated that he had seen my name in a search on Twitter for WikiLeaks. And the reason for that is that I have been a longtime supporter of WikiLeaks and am to this day. I believe that the mission is important. I think that they should continue to go forward, and I think that they should focus on oppressive regimes throughout the world that... Is anyone in this room being oppressed right now?
Well, not by us, I hope. All right. We have some audience questions. Let's start with the first one. Then please, no speeches. Make it short, succinct. Let's try not to shout anybody down. Let's hear what we have to say. Go ahead.
So I appreciate your willingness to stand up in front and talk to us. But the stuff that I'm hearing you say, and I'm talking to Adrian here in case that wasn't clear, the stuff that I'm hearing you say has a lot of American exceptionalism in it. Like, you seem to think that American lives are worth more than the lives that, for example, were being taken in the collateral murder video. I want to know how you justify that.
Actually, I haven't said that at all. What I've said is that there may have been war criminals involved, those being the helicopter pilots. I wasn't there, I can't say for sure, but that there was apparently an investigation going on based on the fact that the video was found in the computer of an officer of the judicial branch of the military, and that investigation may have been compromised. So if anything, I'm saying that there were Americans involved who may have been involved in misconduct based on looking at the video. I would encourage people throughout the audience to look at it in its full unedited form, but nevertheless, even in its unedited form, it does appear somewhat damning.
You're not answering my question about why you think that the potential American lives, say tourists in other countries who might have, might feel worse or might be more scared because people think Americans are jerks because our actual activities are being exposed.
All right. We're not listening to you.
You're not. My question is why you thought those were privileged above the lives that we are taking every day in Iraq and Afghanistan. Why are you willing to privilege those the lives of...
Because those are the lives that I had the opportunity to try to affect positively. I am not holding a machine gun. I'm not sitting in Afghanistan. I'm not shooting at people that are in their own hearts and minds trying to follow their own conscience, be it a misguided or be it